Air China has some new but also some old cabins. In today's video, we'll take a look at one of the latter, as I take you through what it was like to fly on Air China's Airbus A330-300 with the older cabin from Seoul to Beijing. Welcome to Seoul Kimpo International Airport. This isn't where my flight departs from, but I just arrived here after taking a flight on Jin Air. So now I've got to make my way to Seoul Incheon International Airport, which is where not all but most international flights depart from here in Seoul. I caught the AREX train, which wasn't like the express one to Incheon from the city, which has nice seats and baggage areas. Signage makes it easy to get to departures from the train. Trip.com was telling me that check-in was in section M at, I think, desks 8 to 36. It looks like it was correct. There seems to be separate check-in lines for economy, group, corporate, as well as business class, and there also seems to be a duty manager line. There was a sign for upgrades which said it was available from 100,000 Korean won to 380,000, but apparently I couldn't because I had a connecting flight or something. Speaking of which, baggage was checked through. The staff were friendly, but not very friendly. There was a small but existent line. Keep in mind, I was there a bit late. Check-in didn't take too long. Security took roughly 18.5 minutes. There was quite a long line for boarding pass and passport check, before baggage screening and immigration. Airside, there looked to be plenty of duty-free, and there was some cafes or restaurants, and there was also shops around, but I didn't have a good look around. Here's my ride to Beijing. Bravo 6511 is a 2010 built Airbus A330-343 delivered new to Air China. This aircraft is equipped with 2 Rolls-Royce engines. Air China began operations in 1988 as one of the carriers that emerged as a result of CAAC, the airline, being split into multiple airlines. I went more into that in my review of China Southern's Boeing 737 MAX. Air China took over CAAC's intercontinental routes and long-haul aircraft, and it also took over its IATA and ICAO codes. The livery has also remained similar to the CAAC livery. Air China has stakes in many airlines and has been a part of the Star Alliance since late 2007. Air China currently has a fleet of 497 passenger aircraft and flies to roughly 200 destinations. I think boarding was delayed by 10 minutes. I expected that because the plane arrived a little late. It was then updated to 15. But I think boarding started more like 10 minutes late or so. I think. I don't really know. Just one jet bridge was being used. Thank you. Welcome on board one of Air China's Airbus A330-300s, which have the older cabin, which I believe they only really use on more regional routes. I believe this aircraft features 36 Recaro CL6510 recliner seats in a 222 configuration in business class. This is followed by 20, I think, premium economy seats in a 242 configuration. Some of these premium economy seats features seemed to include a headrest, more legroom and an in-flight entertainment screen. Unlike standard economy, which has 255 seats, also in a 242 configuration. I think my seat for this flight was 51A. Classical kind of music was being played. Now, please allow me to quickly show you the seat features. I thought the legroom was not great for a wide-body aircraft. I thought it felt like 30 inches, but online it seems to say that it's meant to be 31 inches. There's a seat back pocket with its contents looking well loved. There was also a pair of headphones. There's also a tray table. By the way, the seat itself was pretty clean, though the sides of the seat could have done with a clean, as could a couple minor parts of the tray table which you don't normally touch. There's also a cup holder on the back of the tray table, and there's the audio entertainment system. There's a universal power socket, which I think there's one for every 2 seats, at least on the window sides. There's what I imagine is an entertainment box. Also, there was no proper adjustable headrest, on standard economy seats that is. Seatback padding was very minimal, quite a hard seatback. I thought the seat recline was great. I think once everyone was on board, the crew walked around with blankets and pillows. I think giving them to those who wanted one. The pillow wasn't dirty, but not the cleanest. I decided I probably wouldn't use it. The seats also aren't very tall, and are quite upright. The seat upholstery looks to be coming off some parts of the seat.
And welcome more passengers to join our frequent flyer program by Air China app. Now we are ready for takeoff. Please fasten your seatbelt.
Boarding didn't take too long. It wasn't a full flight.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard this Air China flight. For your safety, please pay attention to the safety instructions of this flight. If your vest needs further inflation, you can use the manual inflation tubes. We wish you a safe and pleasant journey.
Before pushback, I think the crew came around to confirm special meals. It's now time for pushback, about 15 minutes behind schedule. If you're enjoying this video so far, and you enjoy the honest reviews that I put out on my channel, please consider liking and subscribing. It would help both me and the channel out so much, but if you don't want to, that's completely okay. After a bit of a wait for our turn, it's now time for takeoff from, I think, runway 16 left.
1시간 40분입니다. 감사합니다.
Something I actually wasn't expecting was streaming entertainment, but it was available on this flight. There was no moving map, but there was movies, TV shows, music and games. I wouldn't say there was a really great selection, but fine for a 1.5 hour flight, and it's a lot better than nothing. The audio entertainment worked and seemed to just be different music. Though very basic, I could hear the music okay through the headphones, but not great.
航班的乘务长，我和我的组员将携手为您提供服务。今天前往北京的预计飞行时间是1小时40分钟。Aboard Air China. The departure of this flight. Our estimated flight time is 1 hour and 40 minutes. We provide in-flight snack for servers. Chicken based fried rice. Meanwhile, we'll offer you cold and hot drinks. For your convenience, please put down your tray table and adjust your seat back to the position. We always advocate concept green and environmental protection.
Air China provided a hot meal on this 1.5 hour flight. I thought this was possible, but that it was more likely going to be a sandwich or something like that, so I was certainly happy with this. Alongside the hot meal, a box was provided, which contained the cutlery, as well as a bread roll, some yogurt, some butter, I assume for the bread roll, and a refreshing towel. A drinks cart followed. Some of the drinks on offer seemed to be Sprite, Coke, apple juice and orange juice, wine, and I saw a can of what might have been beer. Oh, and water. I got a Sprite, which I was offered ice with, but I declined, and also some water. The hot meal was chicken rice. I thought it did the job. There wasn't anything too special about it, but it tasted completely fine. No problems really. I was just glad to be getting a hot meal for this pretty short flight. The bread roll was tasty, great flavour, but not super fresh. But it's on a plane, so I don't really expect that. The yogurt was also tasty. There was also a toothpick provided. The lavatory had a couple additional amenities. It was pretty clean and a decent size, but not huge. Also, I should mention that I thought the service was pretty efficient. As we descend into Beijing, please allow me to quickly conclude this flight with Air China. Check-in and boarding was fine, with no real problems other than the small delay. Once on board though, unfortunately, the seat was a real letdown for me. There was somewhat limited legroom and a hard seat back. While the main areas were pretty clean, there was some parts of the seat that were a bit dirty. The pillow also could have been cleaner. Keep in mind though, I'm not sure if what I saw was just stains that stayed there after being washed. The seats were a bit old and not looking the best, but I can deal with the seat for a 1.5 hour flight. The in-flight service exceeded my expectations. I kinda thought I would get a hot meal if I was lucky, but I didn't really think I'd get a box with sides as well. The meal wasn't mind-blowing, but for the length of the flight and the price, I can't really fault it. It was great to have such a service. Just having the streaming entertainment, audio entertainment system, and whatever was playing on the overhead screens was completely fine with me for a short flight. The cabin crew were very friendly and spoke enough English to be able to understand. Overall, I had a good flight with Air China. Though, if it wasn't much more, I'd go with Korean Air or Asiana, I think. I'll give you my more detailed thoughts on my whole experience with Air China in the review of my connecting flight, so stay tuned for that. We'll soon pull into the gate in Beijing, about 36 minutes behind schedule. But for now, please enjoy the rest of the approach and landing on Beijing Capital International Airport's runway 01.
Dear all passengers, we have just landed at Beijing Capital International Airport Terminal 3. There is a 1 hour time difference between Beijing and Seoul. Thank you for flying Air China, a member of Star Allies. We hope to see you again soon. Have a nice day in Beijing. Goodbye.
I'd like to take this time to thank you all so much for watching. I'd also like to thank all of my incredible Patreons for helping to make these videos possible. Their support is truly so much appreciated, and I couldn't do what I do without them. Once again, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next one. next Saturday at 5 p.m. Melbourne time.